What if we told you that there are some stories that are never heard, some questions never answered, some games never released? In the strange and sordid world of game development, such occurrences happen every year, with precious little but their meager debut trailers to remember them by. These are the phantoms of the press conference, the specters of the show floor, gaming's unsolved missed E3s.
E3, 1997. A candid interview with Shigeru Miyamoto revealed that a sequel to Super Mario 64 was underway. But due to the failure of the 64DD, production halted immediately and the plucky plumber's pipe dreams ended with it. In the very same year, starry-eyed gamers bore witness to the birth of another title destined for the 64DD, Earthbound 64. It's a tragic tale that all RPG fans know too well, but a complete overhaul that resulted in what we know now as Mother 3 kept this relic of Nintendo's past from being lost forever. In the unassuming year of 2002, Horsemen of the Apocalypse garnered quite the attention for its intriguing premise and Hollywood voiceover talent. But after a short-lived honeymoon that ended with 3DO going bankrupt the following year, these harbingers of doom and destruction were inevitably tried and executed in the dark bowels of game development hell. The development of 2 full-throttle sequels got off on shaky ground after multiple false starts and the absence of series mastermind Tim Schafer at the wheel. But in spite of enough work having been done to show off 2 separate trailers, internal conflict combined with the added departures of key staff kept the future of this gritty biker series stuck in first gear. The primary goal of BC put players in charge of the survival of their prehistoric tribe, an ironic twist of fate, then, that would not even survive to see a release date. Former studio lead Peter Molyneux claimed that it was an idea far ahead of its time. Today, it's just another fossil for the history books. Imagine a game teasing the potential of next-gen consoles set in a graphically impressive urban setting. Now imagine if that game also had a focus on surveillance, information gathering, and issuing carefully orchestrated hits. Frame City Killer was once such a game, but was later killed in action in a clear-cut case of corporate assassination. Its closest of kin, Watch Dogs, is under close federal watch. At Sony's 2003 E3 press conference, Killing Day made its first and last appearance as an up-and-coming next-gen shooter, after fading into obscurity as other first-wave titles took its place. There have been recent rumblings of Ubisoft refiling the trademark, however, leading some to speculate that this long-deceased title may not be quite so dead after all. Initially promised as Blizzard's triumphant return to consoles, Starcraft Ghosts instead labored through one of gaming's most infamous development cycles until it became yet another checkmark on the company's list of canned projects. The higher-ups would have you believe that it was never officially canceled. At any rate, the game we once knew has disappeared without a trace. 2006's Project Hammer sought to bring diversity to the Wii's launch lineup in an arcade-style brawler from Nintendo's first-party Redmond team. All that remains are the shattered fragments of a dream left unfulfilled. The cam gameplays you see before you are the only evidence that it ever existed. Meanwhile, in Krakow, Poland, the gears were turning behind Nimbus Studios' so-called Sadness, an intriguing survival horror game for the Wii. Said to combine inventive motion controls with a heavy psychological horror aspect, it became one of the Wii's earliest hype titles until languid updates and repeated failures to show at conventions confirmed that it was merely just a ghost all along. Flaunting some of the best supposed graphics on the PlayStation 3 at the time, 8 Days was a game that some believed was too good to be true. Sony executives, on the other hand, deemed it too plain to exist. Citing lack of online features as a big factor in its cancellation, it was left to die in the Arizona desert in 2008. This long-lost game from 2008 once promised to recreate the definitive Vegas experience. Little did we know back then that it was referring to Striking Out. Built on the foundation of a risky premise and the financial woes of Midway, This Is Vegas made a chancy gamble with fate, only to lose it all in the end. Long before Ubisoft's Assassins took to the open seas came 2009's Armada of the Damned, an open-world action RPG set in the Pirates of the Caribbean universe. It had an ambitious premise that seemed to be going places, but all it got in the end was a one-way ticket to Davy Jones's locker, but it was promptly canceled a year later. The very same year, Sony hedged their bets on 2 upcoming spy projects, beginning with its massively multiplayer online caper, The Agency. It was a quirky title that showed some promise before a series of delays put the game's future into question. SOE Seattle's inevitable closure in 2011 put any remaining doubts to rest. The other project of note was Rockstar Games' so-called Agent, an exclusive new franchise destined for the PlayStation 3. As of this report, there's little that's turned up about the game, save for a few environment renders discovered in a former Rockstar artist's online resume. Has the game moved on in a similar fashion, or is Take-Two merely shifting its efforts towards the PlayStation 4? Eagle-eyed 3DS fans may remember this long-forgotten Assassin's Creed game as one of the system's earliest announced titles in 2010, but it was later quietly cancelled for unknown reasons. Only later did we discover that neither Ezio nor Ubisoft had given up on the hunt. Large portions of the game's story and concept were repurposed into Assassin's Creed Revelations, ensuring that this aptly named Lost Legacy remained preserved. The fate of this futuristic first-person shooter seemed to be in question when Bethesda expressed dissatisfaction over the game's current state, but rumors are abuzz of Dishonored developer Arcane taking up the reins of a complete reboot. Could Prey 2 really be on the prowl once again? The bounty's out for more information on this strange alien odyssey. 7 years later, the so-called antithesis to Final Fantasy XIII remains as shadowy and mysterious as its brooding teenage lead. But if there is power in the mystic signs of numbers, 2013 just might be our lucky year to hear more about this Tokyo-inspired fantasy from Kingdom Hearts mastermind Tetsuya Nomura. Could it really be the long-rumored Final Fantasy XV, and will Square Enix finally break their vow of silence? You be the judge. The Last Guardian was primed to be Team Ico's next big hit after Shadow of the Colossus, until a series of setbacks culminating with director Fumito Ueda leaving the project cast an uncertain fate over this once-promised adventure. Whatever became of the boy and his bird? And could the PlayStation 4 really be the new roost for the game's gargantuan griffin? Perhaps you can help us solve this mystery.
And so we leave you, dear viewers, with a chilling thought. Could the next AAA reveal of today become the MIA memory of tomorrow? And is safety ever certain in an industry that changes by the minute? The future may yet hold something in store for these shuttered games and stillborn sequels of conventions past. But for now, they remain gaming's unsolved, missed E3s.